Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Speaks Backman, and this is part of a series of interviews with executives and thought leaders from our own energy storage industry. We're here to talk about what's going on in the world today, how it's impacting business, and what role ESA can play to support the industry. Please welcome Andy Tang from Wärtsilä. Andy, 2020 undoubtedly has been an unprecedented year for all of us. Given the COVID crisis, juxtaposed with challenges but continued growth in the energy storage industry, I wanted to know, what's your outlook for business in the second half of 2020 and beyond that into 2021 and further?
Kelly, I think that's a really interesting question. You know, the COVID impact on the global energy system has actually highlighted the need for flexibility. Some of the impacts have actually been somewhat counterintuitive than what people had originally prognosticated, and really quite surprising. So for instance, we have noted an increase in renewables penetration in various markets, especially in the EU, in Europe, and the UK. And what that has really foretold is the needs that the power system has in order to hit levels of renewable penetration exceeding 50%, 55%. Germany actually hit 77% in one day. And so in a roundabout manner, I bring this up because I think this is a really interesting data point that market observers have really taken to heart on the need for flexibility and the need for energy storage in particular. So I think that the whole crisis actually bodes really, really well for energy storage. It has really highlighted the need for energy storage to be there as a backup resource to balance the grid and to help stabilize the renewables input. I think it's pretty clear even through this crisis that, you know, the renewables cost curve has made it to a point where it's here to stay. And so really it's about how do we now integrate that in renewables and how do we create a stable power system with it. I think that you have seen many announcements from Wärtsilä in particular. We view this, we maybe uniquely so are a particularly global focused company. And so you may have seen recent announcements that we have made for energy storage systems, grid scale energy storage systems in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Southeast Asia, in Africa, and most recently also we announced a hybrid power plant in the Caribbean, in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, I really appreciate those global perspectives as well, because this is not just an American issue. This is across the world that we're dealing with COVID, but also that we're dealing with higher penetration of renewables. So really appreciate that perspective. You know, speaking of change, technologies have been changing, applications, you know, where these storage projects might fit in, policies and market penetrations have all been changing dramatically over the last couple of years. And as a leading global company in the storage industry, what do you think has been the most impactful or maybe even surprising change that's made you think differently about the potential of storage in the US or abroad?
You know, we have been talking, and Kelly, you certainly, as part of ESA, have been talking for many, many years about revenue stacking. And I think that while it was all, you know, it initially started as, well, the business model doesn't really close unless you can get these other revenues, so how do we do that? It's moved from kind of idle chatter to actual implementation. And so I think that's the part that I'm glad to see actually now come alive, which is, you know, how do we make these systems monetize? I mean, in essence, if you have a battery system that is neither charging nor discharging, it's kind of a dead asset, right? It's kind of just sitting there, depreciating away, but not making money for its asset owner. And so really the challenge is, how do you keep that pile of chemicals in motion? How do you keep those electrons in motion? And in doing so, you know, how do you make money for our customers in essence?
Thanks, Andy. You know, here at ESA, we describe our role here as providing value to our members through the ACE model. We accelerate markets, we connect our members with each other, and we educate stakeholders. So on that education piece, can you tell me one of the most critical needs or gaps in awareness that ESA could help fill? Or a particular program that's worked well in other markets or products in order to stimulate deployments and accelerate markets for the storage industry?
Well, I think the most recent example where I think ESA just delivered a tremendous amount of value was really around the White House executive order that came out a few weeks back in the June timeframe. Obviously, markets really abhor uncertainty, and there was a lot of uncertainty around that pronouncement about what did that really mean and how would that impact energy storage. And so ESA was really very, very quick to jump in, to get in touch with all the stakeholders at DOE and the various other FERC and NERC and all the other various agencies that were involved, and really create a series of info sessions and really create a lobbying effort to make sure that we were going after, that the executive order, as it will turn into law, will actually be written in a way that is really trying to promote the safety aspects that it was intended to, and not have any unintended consequences. And so I think the work that your team just kind of rapidly jumped in. I think the executive order came out on a Wednesday and you had a communication out on a Thursday. It was something that rapid, and then a call with DOE the following week. So what I would say is, where I see tremendous value out of ESA is especially in the lobbying and stakeholder management role, because we do have so many stakeholders that we need to keep in line when we're dealing with the electric power system, and there are many issues that need to be sorted through. So I would say that, and then I would also say the work that you have done in promoting at the various regulatory bodies, the more state regulatory bodies as well, to look at how energy storage can be helpful to what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, this is really about promoting a reliable and resilient power system that's delivered at a affordable, at the lowest cost of electricity for our end customers, our users, every one of us.
Well, thank you, Andy. I really appreciate your being here with me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the week here at ESACon20.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to tuning in to many of the sessions.